Hi everyone, we're in the Cathedral of León, and this is a Gothic masterpiece. The Gothic style is taken here to the extremes. They almost get rid of the walls and replace them with stained glass windows. Hence the beautiful stained glass windows that we have behind us. And it is amazing, and you need to come here, come to Spain. The Cathedral of Santa Maria de Regla de León, consecrated under the dedication of the Virgin Mary, also known as the Pulchra Leonina, and begun in the 13th century, is one of the most representative jewels of Gothic art in Spain. Its imposing exterior reflects the grandeur of medieval architecture, standing out both for its elegance and its detailed ornamentation. For all these reasons, it was the first building to be declared a monument in Spain by royal order in 1844. The main facade, with its 3 portals, is one of the most admired parts. Each of the portals is decorated with fine reliefs and sculptures that depict religious scenes and biblical figures typical of Gothic style. Above the central door, called the Portal of the Judgment, is a large rose window of impressive size and beauty, whose stained glass filters the light into the cathedral's interior, filling the space with color. 2 slender towers flank the western facade. The north tower, also known as the bell tower, is taller than its twin, the clock tower, and both rise as guardians of the cathedral, standing out in the skyline of León. Another distinctive feature of the exterior is the set of flying buttresses and supports that surround the temple. These structures, aside from being essential for the building's stability, are a clear symbol of Gothic architecture, allowing the cathedral to reach impressive heights while leaving the walls thinner to house the famous stained glass windows that flood the interior with amazing light. The southern facade features the Puerta de San Juan, another notable entrance with rich sculptures, while on the northern facade is the Puerta de la Virgen del Dado, decorated with scenes from the life of the Virgin Mary. Overall, the exterior of the Cathedral of León impresses with its verticality, its rich sculptural decoration, and the delicacy of its forms, all characteristics of classical Gothic style. The entire structure seems to ascend towards the sky, a clear reflection of medieval spirituality. The interior of the Cathedral of León is also a true masterpiece of Gothic art. It dazzles with its brightness, height, and delicacy. Upon entering, the visitor is greeted by a majestic space characterized by the verticality typical of Gothic style, which invites one to look up towards the high vaulted ceilings and feel a profound sense of spirituality. One of the most remarkable elements of its interior is the stained glass windows, considered among the most beautiful and best preserved in Europe. They cover an area nearly 1800 square meters and date back from the 13th and the 15th centuries. These stained glass windows filter natural light into a kaleidoscope of colors that floods the cathedral, creating a mystical and immersive atmosphere. The light passing through the stained glass of its 125 windows casts tones of red, blue, green and gold into the walls, floors and columns, evoking a celestial ambiance. The temple has 3 naves and a transept. The main nave is wide and tall, with ribbed vaults supporting the ceiling. The slender columns separating the naves give the sense of lightness and elevation, while the triforiums running along the temple add a touch of architectural elegance. The cathedral's chancel is formed by an ambulatory that allows passage around the main altar, connecting with the numerous side chapels. The ambulatory is spacious, allowing for the passage of many pilgrims and avoiding overcrowding. It's important to remember that the Cathedral of León is a significant stop of the pilgrimage of the route of the Camino de Santiago. It has 9 hexagonal chapels arranged around the ambulatory and enclosed by iron grills. Each of these chapels is presided over by double window with stained glass. The Chapel of Carmen houses a tomb of Bishop Rodrigo Alvarez and has a small altar. The Chapel of Christ combines Baroque styles with the austerity of Renaissance. Right in front is the Puerta del Cardo, a 15th century work with merging arches, the part of the late Gothic period. The Chapel of the Consolation preserves 16th century mural paintings. The Chapel of the White Virgin is considered one of the pinnacle works of the era, thanks to its Baroque altarpiece of great artistic value. In front of this chapel and right behind the main altar lies the tomb of Ordoño II. The Chapel of the Conception, it is presided over by a Gothic Virgin from the 14th century and contains Hispano-Flemish panels inside the tomb of Saint Albito. The small altar of the Chapel of the Nativity dates back to the 15th century. The Chapel of Saint Teresa holds a sculpture from the school of the renowned sculptor Gregorio Fernández. And before focusing on the main altar, we should also notice the side chapel, the Chapel of Santiago, where one can appreciate a Baroque altarpiece, sculptures of great artistic value, and other architectural details that enrich the interior of the temple. It was the former library and is now dedicated to the Virgen del Camino, patroness of León. The main altar is sober yet imposing, crowned by a Renaissance-style altarpiece that contrasts with the Gothic delicacy of the rest of the temple. Behind the altar, the main apse is illuminated by large stained glass windows that tell biblical stories, intensifying the brightness of the presbytery. Another gem of the interior is the choir. Located in the center of the nave, its wooden stalls in the flamboyant Gothic style depict scenes from the Bible and allegorical figures, showcasing great detail and mastery of the sculptural work. Although it breaks the spatial unity of the temple, the retrochoir is a brilliant work of Spanish Renaissance. Construction began in 1577, and in its decorative evolution one can discern the Burgundian influence of Juan de Juni. The retrochoir is conceived entirely as a monumental triumphal arch. The reliefs depict scenes of the Nativity of the Virgin, the Annunciation, the birth of Christ, and the adoration of the Magi. Overall, the interior of the Cathedral of León combines the magnificent Gothic architecture with the spirituality that emanates from its open and luminous space. It is a place where light, art and devotion intertwine. The Cathedral of León was originally designed without a cloister. but one was eventually built between the 13th and the 14th centuries. It has a square layout measuring 30 meters per side, with 6 intercolumnations on each side and a total of 24 pillars, following the proportions established in the Cistercian cloisters. Surrounding it are various rooms, including the current Cathedral Museum. The museum, located in the cloister area, houses impressive works of religious and pictorial art of incalculable value. Among these is the Gothic sculpture of Ordoño II and the Mozarabic Antiphonary Codex from the 11th century. A must-see. It constitutes a unique collection in its genre, housing pieces from every stage of art history, from prehistory to the 20th century, all distributed across 17 rooms. The museum has access through a beautiful walnut door made before the 16th century. In its tympanum, the scenes of the Annunciation, fully Flemish, is depicted above a space with Gothic arches. In the first room, we are shown the plateresque staircase by Juan de Badajoz el Mozo, which facilitated access to the chapter house. There are several works on display, and all of them are worthy of appreciation. The beauty of the Cathedral of León impresses anyone who decides to visit this amazing work of Gothic art. Either on the outside or on the inside, you are guaranteed a spectacle beyond belief, and a memory you will hold on the rest of your life. My name is Alex Moraras. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up, share, and definitely subscribe to find out more amazing places to visit before you come to Spain.